We are live. We are live, y'all. So we are going to go ahead and share the video. Let me turn it down some. So we are going to go. All right. So if you are tuned in, I am Tyrell. This is the Let's Heal podcast. And today my special guest is Coach Mark. And we will be talking about Purge Your Life. We're going to use Purge as an acronym. If you are there, stay right there. We will be right back, everybody. All right, everybody, we are back, and I'm so excited to have my special guest, Coach Mark, on the show today. Everybody, give Mark a round of applause. Round of applause. Hey, how are you, Mark? How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm blessed to be alive. I'm honored to be on your podcast today, on your show, sharing with the community. Thank you so much for the invite. I'm feeling good, looking good.
Yeah. You know how we do. So, okay, if you did not know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and tomorrow is May 1st. Yeah, tomorrow's May 1st. So I'm starting a Let's Heal campaign called Feel Better, Do Better. And I thought about purging your life. So in order to re-put things into your life, you have to get rid of some dead weight, i.e. people, stuff, So I thought, who better to talk about this with than Coach Mark here? Because if you do not know Coach Mark, he is a holistic life coach. And I've been watching him, just like his smile and his energy is infectious. And I was like, I need somebody who the energy is going to bounce off of me, and it's going to be a little crazy, but it's going to flow, and it's going to be very organic, and it's going to be very informative. So here we are today. Everybody, tell everybody who you are and what you do if I missed anything.
No, you said it perfectly. Listen, my name is Coach Mark, and my mission is to build, encourage, and motivate growth and transformation in myself and others. And so, as stated, I'm a holistic wellness coach, which means I focus on the mind, body, soul, and spirit, and anything in between. So whatever that means to you and whatever shifts you need in your body, mind, and soul and spirit, I can help you out with. But more so, understanding the investment that you need to make in just overall who you are. And once you do that, you'll be able to show up in the world a whole lot larger, better, and stronger. Be better, do better, get better.
Definitely. Y'all hear his line, be better, get better, do better. Did I get that right?
Be better, do better, and of course, we'll get better.
Get better. Definitely. So, like I said before, this podcast is titled Purge Your Life. And Purge being an acronym, I'm not going to give you everything first. We're going to go through each letter, the P.U.R.G.E. And then that way we're going to talk about everything. And then I got some pointers and some tips. If you are watching, please share this live. Please share the show. And also tune in, ask your questions. Interact with us. We like interaction. We like to hear from you all who are watching and who actually want to be a part of the conversation and actually learn and grow, because over at Let's Heal, we're all about love, life, and lessons. That's my thing. Love, life, and lessons, because it's going to happen. Yeah. So first, let's jump right into it. So the first is P, and it's pay attention to when a change needs to happen. Wow. So, that right there is, I guess, knowing, like they say, knowing is half the battle, but you got to be paying attention to know when something is going on and something needs to change. So what would you tell somebody, or how would you tell somebody to pay attention?
Well, it's all about awareness. And one of the things that I personally believe as a coach, and I'm pretty sure that any coach believes in, is knowing you. And I tell people, you got to have a master's in yourself.
Yeah.
Knowing you so much that you are aware of who you are when those changes are happening, and then use that awareness to know what's going on. So as a coach, I'm trained under a model called learn, be, do. So learning is all the things that we need to know. Or let me go back. Most people, when they move into action, they go for the do. I want to lose weight. I want to do all this other stuff. And they fail to pay as much attention into the learning, which goes back to what you're talking about, which is the awareness about who I am, what's been sabotaging my success. Oh, there's something happening that's been different from where I used to be or how I used to roll.
Right.
What are those things?
Right.
Having that heightened sense of awareness allows you to create an action plan to move out of that. But most of us don't know ourselves enough. And we have so much noise. And noise is distractions, people, TV, jobs, all of this that keeps us from really spending time with ourselves to get to know ourselves.
Definitely.
So it's all about who you are.
Like you said before, being CEO of self, like I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who, I forget what we were talking about, but I was telling him that, because I made a short video saying that, a lot of times we give people the title of friend when they're not qualified for the job. And being CEO of self means that you get the opportunity to sit at the head of your own long table, oval table, whatever the case may be. You are sitting at the head of that table and you get to choose who sits in those seats. So when you have bad energy or bad people in your life, you got to pay attention to when those people need to be asked to get up out of that seat and move down the table a little bit, or even away from the table, because a lot of times people get somebody you want your the closest person to you, whoever that may be, your spouse, your family member, whoever that may be, right close to you. And sometimes you need to move them people around too.
Yeah, I mean,
pay attention to that.
We should always be evaluating who, what, and the things that's in our lives, and asking ourselves, how is this serving me now? Because there are some relationships that served you in one season that don't serve you in this season.
Definitely.
And you have to be wise enough, strong enough to say, it's not serving me, and I'm willing to remove it out of my life, or I'm willing to remove them out of my life. So again, all understanding yourself enough, understanding where you are, so that you can make those informed decisions.
Oh, definitely. And you have to be, and a lot of times those decisions are hard to make because, like I said, some people, because I see this year, and I was just like literally before we got on this podcast and before I interacted with you, I was just talking to somebody and I was telling them, I said, even when it comes to family members, blood makes us related. That don't mean that we're family. So, you know what?
Wait a minute, we might need to sit that right there and hold on to that, because we think that because someone is in our family, that we're obligated to carry, to hold, and to keep them.
Right.
Some family members that I speak to, but we don't have an intimate relationship with, and it serves both of us very well.
Exactly. And you have to be able to pay attention when that happens. Like of course, as a child, you're brought up around your cousins and your close family members. And sometimes you get older and it's not like you're better than these people or you're doing better or vice versa, because you have some family members who it unspokenly becomes a competition for each other. And that's not good for you. And if you can see that and you're paying attention to that as you get older, it's okay to move away from that. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to make that change, to say, that's still my cousin, and I wish them nothing but the best and all success and happiness and everything that they do. But the energy that they carry, I refuse to invite into my life right now. So have at it.
Yeah, I look at, we live in a day and time where reality TV is so prominent. And you know, you can whatever you believe about reality TV, it is what it is. But one
Right.
thing that I do know is that there is a lot of forced friendships and
Yeah.
relationships.
Mhm.
And part of the danger in certain relationships is too much intimacy,
Yeah.
too much in your business, too
Yeah.
much in my business, and it causes a strain. I tell my family we love each other. We will do anything for each other, but we don't talk every day.
Right.
We're not in each other's business. We support each other and keep our boundaries, and it serves us well. How much better would we be if we learned how to focus on us and stay out of other people's business? And that even includes our family. But we trying to be so intimately
Right. Keep everything together. You got to keep everybody involved. So, and I guess that's a perfect segue to go into the next letter, which is the U. And that is understand your part and take away from it what you need. So that you, with that togetherness, you got to understand your part in all of that. So you can't make that change. You can pay attention to it, but until, like I said, if you invite negative energy into your life, you can't complain about it being there.
Yeah.
If you allow it to be there and you allow it to stay there once it's identified, you can't complain about that.
Yeah. See, the part of human nature is we always seek out the challenge in other people.
Yeah.
What the other person did, how they mistreated us. But we very seldomly look introspectively at us.
Right.
What did I do?
Right.
So it's my belief that most relationships fail because they try to build them off of traditionalist ideas.
Correct.
Here. And so instead of understanding you enough to say, this is what I want, then articulating that to another person and saying, this is how we're going to build a relationship based off of what we desire outside of what other people want. So going back to the core of that is really understanding who you are and what your needs are. We talk about the love languages, everyone studies and all that other stuff, but really at the core of the love languages is understanding you and your desire. Yep. I don't need your gift. I don't care how you can buy me everything. That doesn't move me.
Exactly.
But understand me enough,
right,
to be able to articulate that to you,
right,
or the person that I'm relating to, and that's really again mastering you, understanding who you are.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and when I talk to people about relationships, and I think even now at this point in my life of dating and getting to know people, it's like I understand and I appreciate what you need and want, but I need to know that you know what you bring and take away from this situation, because a lot of people come into situations and they come with their hands out. They come to take. And it's like, well, what do you bring to the situation? What else do you bring to the situation besides the obvious things that I can get anywhere? You know what I'm saying? Like I always tell people that, and I use this all the time, especially when I talk to people. I'm like, you hear people say, well, he looks like he'd be a great boyfriend. He looks like he'd be a great husband, because you hear a lot of, people say it, not even just women now, he look like he'd be a great this. And it's like, so if he looks like this and you're accepting that that's all you're basing your relationship on, what happens if he's a liar? What happens if he's physically or mentally abusive? What do you, if you look past that, somebody can only show you who they are so many times before you have to believe them. And then you have to understand that once somebody show you who they are, like that saying goes, when they show you who they are, believe them.
Believe them.
Then once they show you, it's your fault if you decide to stay. So you can't complain about that. All you wanted was somebody who looked like a great husband or a great father. It don't matter that he is mentally, or he's bad with money, or he doesn't know how to be intimate the way that you need. You know what I'm saying? As far like you talked about the love language, when you are with somebody who your love language, like mine, is quality time followed by physical touch. So I can't be with somebody who doesn't like to be touched or doesn't want to be near me or can't spend time, because time is something you can never get back. So if you are willing to sacrifice that moment that you'll never get back with me, that means so much more to me. And I don't mean just over the phone or over FaceTime. Like I'm a very intimate person. So, things like it, understanding that about yourself, understanding what you give and take to a situation will help you, I guess, build a better foundation for yourself.
Yeah. So I because I think what we all need to become better at doing is reflection.
Yeah.
And so what most people do is when they get out of a relationship, they go seeking another relationship
Right.
reflecting
Right.
on what worked. What did I like about that relationship?
Right.
What did I not like about that relationship? What did I settle in that relationship? What did the other person do wrong that bothered me? What did I do wrong in it? Because when you understand
That's the one.
all of that,
That's the one.
then you can better shape yourself and put yourself in the position that you're better for the next person. And we don't take the time out. And it's really just sitting down, asking yourself a question, then asking yourself another question after that. What worked?
Yeah.
What didn't work?
Yeah.
What did I like about them? And be willing to hear the truth. That
Wait. Say that again.
Because be willing to hear the truth.
How about that?
Which is, because, people go out and spend a lot of money on help. And that's what I do. So I'm not discouraging that. I believe that because you need someone to talk to you and process. But a true coach is not going to give you the answer. A true coach is going to help you find awareness from within.
Because you got it already.
It's in you.
Right.
You know that if you ask yourself, what did I like? All I liked was her body. All I liked was his body. Did you like what they brought to the table? No, I didn't like this. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. When you start asking yourself the question, you like, oh, damn. I'm sorry. Excuse me if I'm feeling bad. You're like, I was just caught up in he drove a nice car.
Yeah, that's it.
But you haven't spent enough time with yourself to even recognize what it was that you really liked about the person. So come on, wait a minute. This just popped in my head. You duplicate and replicate the same failed mistakes because you haven't taken time out to understand what you liked and did not like. So you're going after the same thing and realize at the core of you, you don't want that.
Exactly. You don't. And at the end of the day, because if you bouncing from situation to situation, there's something about those situations that are not connecting you. And because I had to learn this for myself, and it was the hardest thing for me to learn because I always thought it was a surface thing. They say you are what you attract. And for a long time, I fought it. I was like, absolutely not. I'm not that. No. And as far as like that, like my ex-husband, for those of you who didn't know that I was married before, my ex-husband, our connection was pain. And I had to be able to face that pain for myself in order to understand his pain. And when I understood that, I also had to understand that we can't grow love from pain. Our connection was pain. It was nothing else. There was nothing positive about that situation. And for me to be able to say, I can't say, well, you got pain. You need to heal. You need to this. You need to that. I had to do this because it was me. I attracted this to you. It was something about me that attracted your pain to my pain, which caused us to be together and support each other's pain and become dependent on each other.
And a relationship full of a messy pain.
It was a mess.
It was a messy pain.
It was a mess.
But it speaks to the core of another issue, which is reflection of where you are. Yeah. And sometimes you need someone to help. I'm going to tell you, when people look at me, they see me now where I am.
Yeah.
The growth and all that. But when I started to really reflect, I had to go back to childhood.
Yeah.
And my mother was a single parent mother. And as hard as she worked, there was times that she just couldn't make ends meet.
Yeah.
And I can remember vividly a time where we didn't have water in our home. And I had to go to my uncle's house that lived blocks down the street. And as a teenager, young impressionable, carrying 5-gallon buckets of water.
Yeah.
The plastic metal cutting into my hand, the water spilling all over my legs, buckling under the stress and the weight of the water, just so that we could have water in our home. For that, what it put inside of me was an ideology that says, I don't want greatness. I don't want to experience riches. I don't want even fame. All I want to do is not struggle.
Right.
And it helped me get to where I am. But how pitiful, for lack of better words, is it to understand that there's unlimited potential and I could be anything. People saw greatness in me that I didn't even see in myself because all I wanted was not to
struggle. Right.
And so it left in me a level of unworthiness that showed up in every area of my life.
Definitely.
There were people that I was interested in and wouldn't even step to them and pursue them because I didn't feel worthy.
Yeah.
There were, even being one of the most sought out project managers in my organization, I would go to the decision-making table and shrink down in my seat.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel worthy to be at the table and let my voice be heard. So when we start thinking, and we have to put in the work to understand where the root of some of this is, so that I can shape tomorrow and not ever have to experience that anymore. Because I'm not concerned about yesterday. I just knew I couldn't take unworthiness in my future.
Right. And that's once you start reflecting, because I think a lot of people, I would say, and I would be going all the way out on a limb, and I'm not going to say that I'm wrong, but 95% of people need to go reflect, and their reflection needs to start in childhood, and it's not about blaming, it's about understanding, because years ago I was little and my mom's best friend, she's deceased now. I remember going to breakfast with my mom and her best friend, and she said, well, because my mom, she was a single parent. My dad, he was there. I knew where he was. I knew how to contact him, but he wasn't in my home. And she asked me, she said, well, how do you feel about your relationship with your dad? And I told her, you said, and it took me until I was an adult to understand that my dad was being the dad that he knew how to be based on how he was raised. And I held a grudge towards him because I felt like he should have and could have and would have done better, instead of understanding what he did, understanding his part and the way that he was raised. And then one day, as you get older and you start respect, because at a certain age, this is your parent, this is your mother, this is your father. It's a respect thing. So when you have a respectful conversation with your parent about their raising you, not even about how you feel like they should have raised you, about their raising you, and allow them to speak to you like an adult. And like you said, be ready and willing to hear the truth, because like your mother, like you said, she didn't have water. She's not going to tell you that, hey, I needed some extra money, until you could understand what that I needed some extra money was, you know what I'm saying, to pay these bills. So when you understand a person's part, it actually helps you understand that person. So like now, me and my parent, like my dad, that was our pain. Like he had issues with his father. I had issues with my father. I went back and rectified because I had to understand the person that he was in order to understand the person that I am.
And so you would not duplicate that.
So that I would not duplicate that.
And Ayanla, that's my, my soul sister.
Yeah.
And she's a little intense. I had to learn to respect her, but
I love her.
She talks about the pathology of families, and not only the pathology of families, is the unspoken conversations that we avoid having, that leave impacts. Like some of that stuff we can break if we just have a conversation.
Yeah.
And we duplicate that. And as you're stating, when we get older and we start putting in the work, we go back and we force certain conversations. We have certain conversations we better understand. But there's so many people that don't.
Right.
And so when going back to the part of the purging, the you, is you got to start asking yourself questions. Why do I feel this way?
Yep.
Why is this showing up in my life?
Yep.
Why do I get angry in this area? Because at the root of the answer to that question is your freedom and your liberty.
Oh, yeah. Why do you respond to certain things? Why? Because, a lot of people respond like I was talking about grief. Every situation at the end of it requires you to go through the stages of grief. Grief is not just meant for death. It is the end of a situation. You have to go through the grief process. There are 5 stages of grief. And people usually get stuck at anger because it's easy to be mad at something. It's easy to be pissed off at somebody and never speak to them again. But guess what? That person is continuing to move forward while your anger still got a hold or attachment to them. And you walking through life and you pissed off at the world because something that you probably already forgot. It's 10 years now. I don't know why I'm so pissed off at the world. Then you start thinking, oh my God, this happened to me 10 years ago. You got to understand your part. We can talk about this all day long.
Listen, I don't have any problem talking because it's something, and we can move on. But when you carry that load, it manifests itself in every part of your body, in your health, in your mentality, in your relationships. And so you have to put in the work, because at the better you, the greater you, is the releasing of all of that.
Definitely. Oh my gosh. So that takes us to R. We are at R, and this is my favorite one because people, it will come off kind of mean to some people because people don't know how to do this the right way, and they automatically think it's an anger thing. R is respectfully give it or them their walking papers. Meaning,
relax, release, relate. Ain't that what they said?
Ain't that what they say? Relax, relate, release. Let them go and let them know that they can go. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't hold on to people in situations after you understand your part, you understand their part, and you realize that their existence is not going to help you. So respectfully offer them their walking papers. I invite you to leave my life right now. Like I said, you are the CEO of self. You got this long or oval table, whatever shape or size you want it to be. You sit at the head of it. And if you have to ask somebody who's sitting immediately to your right, can you move down just a little bit? I need you to move down about 10 seats because your energy don't flow right here. I need you to scoot down a little bit. It's okay.
So I'm going to add a piece to that.
Okay.
Does that say, not what it says about them, but what it says about how much you love and value yourself?
Definitely.
I love me enough.
Definitely.
Not hold on to anyone or anything that's going to prevent me from being my truest, authentic, and greatest self.
Yes.
And as much as I love you, I love me so much that I'm willing to release you.
Oh yeah. Don't start preaching up in here today. Don't start preaching up in here.
I love me. I'm taking this class about delivering your message to sharpen my public speaking, and I just created a short speech about I choose me.
Yeah,
I choose me over relationships, over my children, over family. In my case, I chose me over food because food was ruling me.
Yeah.
And so when I chose myself over, I lost a total of 65 pounds.
Oh, congratulations.
In the last 2 years, and have maintained it because one day I said, I choose me over having the momentary pleasure of a piece of food in my mouth.
Definitely. And you have to choose you first because you got to know what you bring to the table. Like I always tell people, especially now when I meet people, I'm meeting new people, and I tell them at this point in my life, I'm at the corner of peace and happiness, and we having a block party at the corner.
Yeah.
And if you come to my block party to disturb the flow or disturb the happiness or the peace, I'm going to ask you to leave because I don't invite negative energy to my block party. I'm at my own personal block party, which is why when people see me, they're like, you're always so happy and you're always so radiant because I enjoy me. I'm at my own block party. I'm here with my own red cups and potato salad and barbecue. So if you ain't bringing nothing to the party, you can't stay. If you're not bringing anything positive to the party, because you got a lot of people who will come to a party and bring you an invitation to their pity party. I don't want that. I'm a respectful leave.
And I don't owe you an explanation.
Not for my happiness.
My peace and my happiness. It depends on where you are. Like one of the things that I appreciate and one of the things that I celebrate more is my house is a place of peace.
Yeah.
My people can come and feel the energy of my house. So my job is to protect that. So that made me, you got to go because your energy is not right. On the flip side, if I go to someone else's place and they don't have the right energy,
It don't feel right.
It's my obligation to get my happy self up
Yes.
and remove myself
Yep.
from that place.
Yep.
And so you got to determine, am I on someone else's territory or if this is my territory? And then what do I want at my block party? Or I'm just not going to come to the block party. And you can invite me over and over again, but you've been duplicating this same energy. So I realize you're not healthy for me. So I will never attend. Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it. But I have something else on my schedule.
Right. Trust me. That's exactly.
And what's on my schedule is called peace.
And
peace of mind.
and because you don't know what that is yet, I'm going to give you. Anyway.
I'm not going to even explain it because I need you to do the work for you. But what I thank you for the invite because I'm going to be respectful.
Yeah.
But right now, I have something on my calendar. And on my calendar, I may mark it real big and bold, peace of mind. I can't attend because peace of mind is calling.
Peace of mind. And once I figure out that you coming to break that, we can't, because like even in my place, it's very zen. And I can always tell when somebody's meant to be in my space because even when they sit down, they sit uncomfortable. And I've invited people. I'm glad you stopped by. I can tell that you're uncomfortable. I hope you get home safe. That's the nicest way I can tell you to get the hell out. That's so.
But it's being intentional. I love to host parties. I love to host events. And I pay special attention to the energies that I bring and the energies that connect. There are some friends that I know don't have the same type of energies. I can manage energies. I know me, and I know certain energies I can manage. Certain people can't do that. So I won't invite the same people in the same settings because I know their energies, and I want to protect. I want everyone to feel comfortable because how awful is it? And this goes back to what you're saying, to live in a world where you can't be your truest, authentic, greatest self. And if someone is pulling at that and causing you to minimize that, you don't need them in your life. And it's hurtful because these may be people that have always been there.
Yep.
These may be people that you value. And so sometimes the release may not be a full release, but some of the release may be, I just can't hang with you in certain settings or in certain environments. So sometimes a full release doesn't mean just cut you off, I don't have anything. It's just I'm mindful about when I do and how much I invest in the energy. I love you enough to be mindful of myself.
Definitely. Well, before we just hold on, I'm gonna take a break because I feel like the people need a break right now. We're gonna take a break, a quick break, so y'all stay right where y'all at. We will be right back. Recently, I asked some of my friends and family what does healing mean to them, and here's what some of them had to say.
Healing is
my healing is
self-rejuvenation.
My personal definition of what healing is, and
of healing is to me, healing is about.
Healing is
Healing means to me.
Healing to me means being.
Healing means to me.
Of healing is to.
Healing to me means. Let's heal.
Healing is.
Oh, wait. Before I go, you can submit your Let's Heal letter of what healing means to you, to me, today. You can join the Let's Heal movement because we are all over here healing. We are all over here learning. We are all over here still moving. All right. So that was the Let's Heal movement. So.
Wait a minute. So I just saw something in the tagline of the very end, which I thought was powerful in itself.
What's that?
So it was, I can't remember the exact wording, but I think appreciate the present. The present.
Learn from the past, appreciate the present, and look forward to the future.
Okay. So I want to really stop at that second part, appreciate the present.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've studied mindfulness or had any thought or did any kind of research around mindfulness. Mm-hmm. It talks about being present. A lot of us, as we've been talking about, the acknowledgement, recognition, the self-love comes from being present.
Right.
Tuning out all of the noise, tuning out everything else, and just living in the moment. Taking joy in this present moment.
Yeah.
When we better do that, we value our time, value our space, and value what's around us. So that was just powerful in itself.
I did. Yeah, because in order for me, because my focus is emotional intelligence. So I'm an EQ, and it's all about being present. In order to understand and truly give a full emotion, no matter what it is, whether it's happiness or sadness, you have to be present. It may invoke some things from the past, and it may make you think about preparing for the future, but you got to be present first. You got to know where you are today in order to know where you can go.
and it's stopping to identify the beauty. I went on a trip to Pensacola about 2 weeks ago, and it was a solo trip. I didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was about 10:30 up by the crack of dawn to walk the beach. And as I was on the beach, I noticed the waves crashing up against the shoreline.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed the sun beaming. I noticed the mixed couples as they were walking, some holding hands, some, solo. But when I looked back, I found the beauty in my footprints.
Yeah.
I was fully present in that moment. So I was able to see the beauty in something that other people took for granted.
Yeah.
And the power of being present.
Yeah. And I started being more present, gosh, I want to say about 10 years ago. And I took a trip with a friend of mine. We went to Miami for Christmas. Excuse me. And it was raining. We went to Viscaya Gardens. So if you are ever in Miami, there's a place called Viscaya Gardens. It is freaking beautiful. And right in the moment of us being there, walking around, it started raining. And we started having puddles and things like that. And in my mind, I instantly started thinking, let me take pictures because this rain is never going to rain like this ever again. You know what I'm saying? Like this one drop of rain will never drop this way at this time ever again. So why not capture that moment? And I took some of the most beautiful pictures at the Sky Gardens during a big rainstorm while we standing out there soaking wet. And my friend is like, why are you standing in the rain taking pictures? I'm like, but because you don't see this? It's beautiful. Like we will never be rained on at this moment again. Get out here and enjoy some of this water. So,
I probably would have been looking at you crazy too, taking pictures from up under the what you call. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was one of those kids. I didn't stump in mud. I didn't play in the rain. And I wasn't one of those, just super neat kids. That wasn't my thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So let's move on. So the next one is G. That is grow from the experience. Grow from the experience. So we have paid attention. We understand what we're doing. We've asked the dead weight to kind of remove themselves. Now we have to grow from the experience. How would you tell somebody to grow after all of that? Because at that point in time, you probably are beaten up. You probably feel defeated because you purged so much that you feel like who's left? How do you grow?
So earlier in our conversation, I talked about the 3 steps: learn, be, do.
Mm-hmm.
So in the growth part, it's about the being. Who do I want to be?
Right.
I had to figure out who did I want to be in the healthy Mark.
Yeah.
Who did I want to be in the successful Mark?
Yeah.
Who did I want to be in the Mark that didn't have any boundaries?
Yeah.
Because when I understand that, I understand what characteristics need to show up. And then also too is if you've been living and doing something for so long, all of that stuff that we've been doing is killing that old man.
Yeah.
It's literally strangling those old things. So now we have to feed ourselves who we want to be. And that's how we grow.
Yeah.
If you don't feed yourself natural food, you go die of malnutrition.
Right.
You also have to feed your mindset.
Yeah.
You have to feed your spiritual well-being. Mm-hmm. So this is what I did. I had to kill all those negative and horrible thinkings that I had developed for 40 plus years. So I started speaking affirmations over myself. And one of the affirmations was from Marion Williams. She said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Yeah.
Our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your plan small does not serve the world. Right. There is nothing enlightened about you shrinking so that others won't feel insecure around you. Right. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in all of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give permission for others to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fears, our presence liberates others. As you speak those affirmations and those things of life, not where you are, where you want to go, right? It becomes an echo chamber. It comes out your mouth, echo chamber back into your ears and gets into your spirit. And what's in you begins to manifest itself out. So I show up strong. Right. I really like large. People recognize it. I don't have to say anything. They're like, it's something about you. You have a light. Right. Shining on you. Right. You have a light because I'm manifesting the greatness that's inside of me. And I have to feed that where I wanted to go, not where I currently was.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, people see that when you walk in the room, and that's what I tell people, when you are very self-assured, I will say, when you know who you are, and it's not to make anybody feel smaller, it's not to minimize anybody else in the room, it's not to come into the room and unscrew anybody else's light bulb. But I know that my light shines on me when I walk in the room, and I ain't even said nothing. And I want other people to shine with me. And it's something about appreciation of other people being successful that allows you to shine brighter, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like when you genuinely want people around you to be successful and happy, you don't even have to say it. People are automatically drawn, like for me, people are automatically drawn to me. And I'm like, I don't know why. Because as much as I talk the podcast, I hate public speaking. So I don't want people to be drawn to me when I start talking, but they naturally are. And I had to understand that calling because like you said before, a lot of times you get intimidated by your own success. And years ago, Tyrese wrote a book called How to Get Out of Your Own Way. I read that book and I understood it because it was like, it's been told to me that I'm supposed to speak, that I'm supposed to be in front of a crowd. And I failed public speaking in college 3 times because I was like, do what? Talk where? And the crazy part about it is I've always been in management positions. I was president of student government in college. So I was over everything and I was always speaking, but I hate public speaking still to this day, hate public speaking. But I know that this is my calling. So if I don't step into that light, it's not going nowhere. This is my light. I'm supposed to be here. Whether I like it or not, I had to get out of my own way. Wasn't nobody else sabotaging me. Even now, like when people talk about Tyrell, I always say, as long as you spell and pronounce my name correctly, I don't care what you got to say, positive or negative, long as I get the credit for the work. That's all I care about.
Yeah. It's something about when you're living out your purpose and what you're called to do and who you are. It does 2 things. It allows you not to be intimidated and scared of someone else's success.
Exactly.
They can be doing the exact same thing as you.
Yep.
But because I'm so in tune and I'm living out my purpose, then I said, go, brother, go.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah. I'm with you because I'm in tune. The second thing it does, it bothers me with this generation, and I hear it a lot. And even pastors, they preach a whole sermon about haters.
Yeah.
My question is, what in you is focusing so much on someone else that
you know what? Don't start that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Because I'm so in tune with me.
Yeah.
Even if I do have haters, who cares? Because doing me is living out my purpose, and there's nothing that no one can say or do to stop me from living out my purpose. So I'm not concerned about haters. Hate on. Hate on.
Or to even narrate the outcome. Like when I was an aerobics instructor, and it takes me back to that, and I always tell people who I'm speaking to, and I usually have to say it to myself because I say it all the time. You know, when you go to an aerobics class, there's always some onlookers. Somebody's always watching. And I used to have people come to me and say, well, Tyra, I don't want to stand next to the window because somebody's watching me and people are staring. And I'm like, well, if they're watching, give them something to watch. People are always going to be watching you. You were not put on this earth to please everybody. Nobody was given a handbook on how to please everybody in this world. So if they're watching, give them something to watch.
Give them something to watch. But I have another one, and this will help so many people, even as it comes down to relationships and mental health. I was this person that could create a whole story in my head.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have what everyone said, everyone was doing, how they did it, the facial expression. I could come up with a whole scenario. The question that you ask yourself or that you ask anyone is, how much of that is assumptions?
Right.
Because then it makes them think, wait a minute, where did this come from? What evidence do I have to make me believe that? So then I have to reckon with, oh, this is something that I created on my own.
Right.
So if I create, why am I worried about it? Because they may not even be thinking that way. Because I created this all on my own.
You assumed it and you become the first three letters of that word each and every time when you assume things about people.
How much freedom will that be in relationships before we jump to conclusions? We ask ourselves, how much of this is an assumption and what evidence do I have to prove that? When we do that, it cuts down all the madness. And even if we go beyond that, we now consider, I don't really have evidence to support what I'm saying.
Right. And where did this conclusion come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it from something that happened to me in the past that I have not gotten over or healed from or still worried about? Because one thing about everybody, you can never control somebody else. The only person you can control is you. The only response you control is yours. So no matter how much you assume or become an ass of the situation, whether it's true or not, you did it.
You did it.
You did it to yourself. So you can't be mad at somebody for your assumptions.
Listen, the hardest part is, again, hearing the truth from that. I've had to do it more often because, I was like, okay, they haven't called me or I haven't heard from them. Well, they must be feeling this type of way. Wait a minute, hold on just a second. Let me stop.
Yeah.
What assumptions am I bringing to this?
Right.
What evidence do I have? And then this goes back to another piece, and true growth is communication.
Definitely.
So let me push myself out of the way. Let me stop trying to do this litmus test of who go hold out the longest and all these other scenarios that we have built up in our head.
In your head. Your head. And I wasn't going to talk about it, but here it is. Bring the universe and brought it. People want you when and how they want you. They don't want to ever understand. Like when I tell people who may be trying to get to know me, I say I am, and busy is not everybody's busy. Everybody has something to do. So when people run me that whole, oh, I'm busy from the beginning, that already tells me you're making excuses for your absence when I didn't even ask you to be here in the first place. So with your excuses, you could be here or not. I'm still going to be good. If I talk to you, I'm going to be good. If I don't talk to you, I'm going to be good. And I'm not going to think anything negative because I'm not going to, and those are usually the ones that'll call you when you're sleeping. If I called you, yeah, I was asleep, or yeah, I was at work. You can't have me when and how you don't get that. I'm not obligated to you like that.
So I think it was Ayanla I was listening to last week, and she said something so profound. I wrote it on my whiteboard in my office. And she said, I value and honor my boundaries.
Yeah.
Because we try to force people to respect our boundaries. No, I value.
Right.
And I honor my values.
Right.
Powerful. And you when you do that, you will not allow certain things. Yesterday, I went to go get food. I had an interview, on my platform, and I went to this place. I got a shrimp burrito. How long do you think it should take to make a shrimp burrito? At a
couple minutes, if that long.
So I was on the phone doing different things, talking to my brother, and I saw someone that came in after me, and they got their food. Now she could have ordered or whatever. I don't know. So it just kind of jarred my memory. I was like, oh, well, let me go ahead and see if they called me, and I didn't miss. And I said, have you called my name? And she's like, no. I said, oh, how much longer do you think it's going to be? When I pulled out my receipt, it was 25 minutes that I had been waiting.
Oh my gosh.
I said, oh, wait a minute. I said, I've been waiting 25 minutes. I guess it was somebody else jumped behind it. You heard her say 5 minutes. You didn't see all these people, blase. At that time, I said, oh, so how about you just give me a refund?
Exactly.
And all that other stuff. So they continued to ignore me, and then they pushed out my burrito. So I was like, well, thank you for the apology, which I didn't receive, and then walk out. But I value me enough and honor my boundaries that I'll walk back up there. And
you have to.
We allow people to take advantage of us.
Yep.
That doesn't say it's a shame because they're a Black business in my community and I want to support them. But I value myself enough to not allow you to treat me that way. Yeah. I didn't get into it that moment, but I will be going up and having another conversation because you will not, one, disrespect my money.
and I made a post earlier this week about that. And I told people, save your emotionally driven responses, but when and why and how did the Black business become what it is and be so run into the ground so fast? Like I work for a company that's majority run by Black people. And I love my Black people. I am highly melanated and proud of every bit of chocolate that runs through my body.
Come on, chocolate.
It's just a certain way that it's run about when you're in charge. It's like, okay, yeah, so the customer service not there, the way that you talk to people, the boundaries of respect. You ask for respect. I can't come in here and talk to you out the side of my neck. So what makes you think that I'm going to let you talk to me as the customer who I'm paying you? And even if I'm not paying your salary, you still should want to have that kind of, rapport with your company. Let's not even go into that. Let's not even go into
that. So here's one of the things that I'm going to do. I respect the business, and I respect the food. They have good food, but I also respect them enough to go and give them an opportunity to hear my perspective and make it right. And then I have a choice to determine how I move beyond. And I think that we don't do it. We just accept things and people allow people to continue to use it. So if you're a Black-owned business, which we have a lot that's developing, go on. But push yourself to take the level up, to move the bar up. Be the exception. Be the example. Be the quick trip. The one that speaks to everybody when you walk through the door.
Or the Chick-fil-A.
Or Chick-fil-A, yes. Be the Chick-fil-A of your Black industry.
Oh gosh! Because this hour done crept up on us real quick. We got one more letter, and that is the E.
Okay.
E stands for expand your territory from the lessons you've learned and applied.
Woo!
And that's part of the growth. And when you grow, you have to be able to expand. Like, you already are this entity, so it's how do you, I guess that's the legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always tell people, I'm currently living in my legacy. So if I was to die today, people would automatically think positivity and let's heal or realism, because I don't want let's heal to just come off as like, oh, it's so positive. Life is about lessons. Lessons have good and bad. Let's heal is about good and bad. That's why the whole logo is black and white. And black and white together makes gray. So, see, black and white. There it is. So expand your territory.
Expand. So here's what I'm going to say to this. It's more so our creator, God, Buddha, whoever you believe in, created this universe and made it a blank canvas. And he says, I'm equipping you with the paint and the brush, gifts and talents to create the masterpiece, not just any piece of art, the masterpiece that you desire. If from a thought someone can imagine taking a spaceship from Earth to outer space.
Right.
And it started in the thought. If you believe it and think it about yourself, it can become true. So what is the masterpiece that you want to create for yourself? Crush all the boundaries. Push yourself out of all the limits. There is no limit to what you perceive. It's crazy to think that out of nowhere, someone said, I can create a ship that will fly into outer space and land on it. That's unimaginable. And it happened, and it started with thought. How much more can you be?
Right.
Anything that you desire. So when you talk about expanding, take the boundaries off and understand there's unlimited possibilities. That's all I have to say.
All right. Mine is basic. Living your legacy, because I'm definitely find out what your purpose is here in life and living your legacy. You know, and your legacy doesn't have to look like everybody else's, you know, because you are an individual. Yeah. Before we leave, I got some pointers and some tips that I have put in my trusty iPad here about purging your life. So if you are taking notes right now, if you have not taken any notes right now, would be the perfect time to take notes. So number one is learn to stop taking on other people's issues or problems as your responsibilities.
Amen.
As you purge your life. Because when somebody comes to you and they always got something going on, and you don't feel guilty about helping somebody or just being that listening ear and asking at the end of your lesson, so what you gonna do about this? Because that's as a life coach, that's usually what I always tell people: never present a problem to me without at least a suggestion of a solution. Because if you brought your problem to me, you don't know how you want to solve it. That means you're looking for me to solve it. That's not my problem, and I'm not going to accept that as my problem because that's yours. Anyway, next note would be, even if this person is your spouse or significant other, they still have lessons that they will face and have to learn from that are not meant for you. So you can't solve it for them. And the best thing you can do is support them through the process. But, you know, a lot of times we get married, we get in these relationships, and, you know, you're significant. Well, I got this going on and I got that going on. And if you're like me, my personality type is defender. And I had to stop myself from figuring out other people's problems who I was in a relationship with, because that's their lesson to learn. I'm there to be supportive. I'm there to, you know, encourage you to move forward, even when it gets hard. But there's just certain things in your life that you have to learn that all I should be doing is be here to support you through that.
Can I add a point there?
Yeah.
So the one of the challenges is people wake up and say, I don't know the person. I don't know the person that I met years ago, because we're all developing. It's important that even in that struggle that you're there. So the greater question that you want to ask, how can I show up for you in this?
Right. Exactly.
And leave it at that. Because sometimes it's just the present, but you need to be there, because what happened is, if you're not there, they will grow, they will develop, they will learn from the lesson and become a person that you no longer recognize.
Right. And that's, you know, I always say nothing is constant but change. And as a person changes, you should be changing with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, if you meet somebody and you say they are exactly who they were when I met them 15 years ago, that means that y'all not growing. Y'all not growing. Y'all not doing nothing, which is why, you know, you meet people and they're like, well, I'm content with my life and I don't want nothing to change. We cannot be friends, because I plan to change. I plan to grow. I plan for things to be a little different, whether they are different financially, but they're going to change. Nothing is constant but change. One of my favorite artists, India Arie, said that in the beginning of one of her songs: the only thing constant in the world is change. That's why I take each day as it comes.
Anything that's not changing, anything that's not growing is dead.
How about that? And the last point that I got on here says, on the flip side, stop telling people they are not your friend and don't support you, because they won't solve your problems. Because you got a lot of people who will say that. You're not my real friend. You're not there to support me. Why? Because I wouldn't solve your problems. Them is yours.
We come from a long lineage of survivors. Back from when we heard, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
It's in our beings,
Yeah.
who we are. When
Yeah.
we solve people's problems, we take away their ability for their natural instinct to rise up.
Exactly.
So you have to let people solve their own problems.
You got to let people solve their problems and learn their lessons, because like
Yes.
it says, oh gosh,
This has been good.
it has been. Oh my gosh. It's been
I told you we
amazing.
wouldn't have no problem. I told you we wouldn't have no problem having a conversation.
Oh my gosh. So I hope y'all enjoyed this, because I have enjoyed this
Yeah.
podcast. Of course, you know, my mom was there. She said preach and teach, gentlemen. Earlier in the day when I was a comment on there, my mom always watches. So
Hey mom. Hey mom.
yeah, it was fun, y'all. This is Coach Mark. So Mark, tell everybody where they can find you, what you are doing, what you got going on, what's coming in the future. Tell us about you so we can follow you.
You can find me on all social media at Coach Mark Morton. So I will tell you, if you want to stay abreast of what I have going on, Facebook is the best place to keep track of me. My webpage is being rebuilt and branding. So right now, Facebook and all social media, Coach Mark Morton. I have, next week is Teacher Appreciation Week. We will be doing something to celebrate teachers all week. Also, we will be acknowledging mothers. We will have a whole series for mothers, with Mother's Day coming up. And then this is one thing that I really am passionate about. Come and look for. I'm starting a movement, 21 days of the love movement, hashtag the love movement.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is every day you show love to yourself, either yourself, others, or to the world, meaning community, the world, the earth, pick up trash, whatever. So you'll hear more about it on my platform, but I want everyone to take part of it. We're starting middle of May and to the 1st of June. But it's hashtag the love movement. We got to show love. There's enough hate and all this other stuff.
Definitely.
Let's show some love.
Definitely. So y'all, that is the show. Y'all already know where to find me at. The new website is up. It's letshealdoc.com. Doc as in documentary, because I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to be doctor of anything.
Come on, Doc.
So I don't want nobody to say, well, you're not a doctor. Oh, I know that. I might look like one. I may play one on TV, but I'm not a doctor for real. And of course, y'all know me at Live Well with Tyrell, Let's Heal Doc, the podcast and everything like that. So like I said, next month is Mental Health Awareness Month. And it is Feel Better, Do Better. So next month, I will be having guests on the show to talk about education and finance and beauty and fitness and, you know, journaling. And hopefully Coach Mark will be coming back on one of those shows.
Yeah, who put my name on the ballot? Somebody put my name on the ballot.
Come back and come in and teach us some more. So next month is all about, you know, feel better, do better. So now we purge. Now we go and we feel better. We do better. We live in our truth. So until next time, everybody, this was the Let's Heal podcast. I appreciate your opportunity, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Oh my God.